Well, it's it's American democracy in action. But I spent the last 10 months traveling the 9th Congressional District, campaigning. So I've been out with voters, talking to voters, and on election day, the voters of the 9th Congressional District spoke overwhelmingly. 70% in the 9th Congressional District, the highest percentage Donald Trump got in any congressional district. Blair County was 72%, Bedford 82%. So it was clear to me that the folks here, and of course I supported Donald Trump, but the voters have spoken, and now I'm in Washington working extremely hard to try to move some of these things, these pieces of legislation forward that I believe will make America a better place.
So what do you like? How do you feel about these town halls?
Well, that's one way to communicate with the voters. I've done them in the past. Today, with the meeting here today, probably by the end of the day, I've spoken to 30 or 40 people. So I'm always in communication with the voters. What I've seen across the country is that these radical left-wing groups have hijacked these town hall meetings, and so a lot of them haven't been productive. In fact, in many cases, they turn into a circus. So, I prefer to make sure we're talking to people. It's productive. I'm listening to them. I don't always agree. I think the two ladies that are in here today probably had a fairly different perspective on things, but we worked with them for about an hour and a half, talking to them about the issues, a lot of issues.
Do you believe that more transparency will come of this?
Well, I'm transparent now. When you're talking about transparency, I'm not sure exactly, but I try to get out and talk to people all the time. As I said today, by the end of today, I'm sure it'll be up to 40 or 50 people that I've talked to in small groups and one-on-one. So I'm always out there trying to listen to the people of the 9th Congressional District.
Do you hope to have more town halls in the future?
Well, like I said, town halls are just one way to communicate. I meet with constituents all the time, but I went through an election process, 10 months of it, 11 months of it. So I spent a lot of time out there talking to voters, and it's overwhelmingly that the people of the 9th District support Donald Trump, and they supported me. So I'm down in Washington now, getting down to work, and there's a lot of work to be done.
Well, this meeting here stems from the rally they had a few weeks ago. You weren't here. Where were you then?
I was traveling the district some, and I took a little bit of time off. I had a little bit of personal time, but always doing my job, listening to people, voters, and looking at projects around to make sure that I'm aware of what's happening.
You talked a little bit about the Affordable Care Act today.
We talked a lot about it, and it's not so affordable anymore. What's happened is premiums have skyrocketed. Pennsylvania, I think it's over 50% they've gone up. There's a lot of hardworking men and women in the 9th Congressional District that are just getting hammered by the so-called Affordable Care Act. It's not affordable. It needs to be repealed. It needs to be replaced, and we're hard at work at that in Washington right now.
Now, how can you repeal it and still provide care for people with pre-existing conditions?
Sure. Well, the key is repeal and replace. And one of the key provisions in the Republican plan is to keep pre-existing conditions in place as it has been for the past couple of years. But there's a lot of it that needs to be reformed. There needs to be more competition. There needs to be more patient-centered choice, not allowing some government agency determining what your health plan is, what your doctor can do and can't do. And we're hard at work on that in Washington right now.
Were these ladies a far left-wing group? Is that what you called them? Or
no, I said that nationally I've seen some of these radical left-wing groups that have taken control of these town halls, and I don't think they've been productive. No, these are two women that certainly aren't on the same political side I am on, but there was a reasonable conversation. We disagreed. Strongly on some areas, found some common ground, but all in all, I think it was a productive way to spend some time.
No, last question for you. Sure. What was the areas where you most disagreed on?
The Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, was an area there. There's some agreement, but also some smaller disagreements. Talking about some of these environmental regulations that I believe many of them need to be repealed to protect the environment, to create jobs. And so we had a pretty robust discussion about those two issues. I'd say those are the two greatest areas.
And so those two women told us